You and I want the same things. We want to learn how to hit this club longer and straighter. Well, in this video today, I'm going to give you 3 simple tips to rip it straight down the middle. Step number 1, we need to learn how to use our hands and arms correctly in the golf swing. Because today we talk about always how you use the body, how you can have good ground force reactions, etc, etc. They're all important things we'll talk about afterwards. But if we can't transfer that into a powerful release, then it's just all wasted. So let's get on with how the arms and how the hands and arms are going to work. So I've just got my driver, okay? I'm going to turn it round. So I'm just gripping under the head and I'm gripping it in my left hand. So the first thing I need to understand is how a good release works and how we can whip that speed, that club head through. So I'm just going to rotate my forearm. As you can see here, the back of my left hand is pointing to you, the palm of my left hand is pointing to you. So I'm just learning this simple movement. My feet are close together and I'm just going to start just rotating a little, and then I'm going to start creating speed. I mustn't let my arm get away from my body. That's not going to be powerful. Okay, I've got to keep that nice connection. Look at that rotation. And I've got the whip, the speed at the right point, which is at impact. I don't want to be whipping it back here, and I don't want to be rigid where I don't have any whip at all. So it's from here. So I have to do this. If you practice this often, you'll be surprised how much faster and how much more efficient your release will be. That's my left hand. Now I'm going to go to the right, and I'm just going to do the same, you see. Rotation of forearm, I keep nicely connected. I let my body rotate a little with it so I just don't lose that connection, and you can hear that whip. Very good. So both hands, the same thing. Keep the arms close together. Look, my forearms don't get away from each other. They stay close. I let the club just hinge up with the wrist a little bit in the backswing, and I release it through. My arms are almost touching, forearms are almost touching. They're not apart, they're close together. And then same thing, keep nicely connected. And now I have that whipping power. We're just going to add a little bit more to that just to help you. We're going to do a step drill which allows me to start pushing into the ground, to have a little bit of these so-called ground force reactions, which just means I can apply energy to my body and then to my hands and then the club. And just doing this, it also allows me to create like a braking action on the body, which allows the club to spin, to whip through. So from here, I'm just going to step, everything stops, I rotate and I whip. So we're just going to do that with one hand, step. So when I'm halfway back, I step and then I whip. So that starts to give me that beginning of that powerful sequence of movements. It allows me to put the brakes on, turn and whip. Okay, and again, we're just going to do it with the right hand, just a couple. Obviously you need to practice a lot of these and you need to do them for sure every day. Now both hands. Right, so that's step number 1, how to whip that club through, release it correctly, and making your arms and your hands more efficient through the impact area. Step number 2, how we can use our body to create even more power, but above all to help hit that golf ball in a straight way. We need to be more connected. So we're going to use body rotational forces and connection together here. So what we don't want to be doing is setting up to the golf ball and just lifting or moving out of our center point. If we start to move around, we have to get all of that back when we're swinging down. It's just a way to lose power and be less efficient. So what I want to get the feeling of is that the arms and the body are working together and that the feet are pushing against the ground in the right way. Now this is a great thing to think of. I'm going to give you a great image. So if you can imagine, my feet are on top of a lid, okay, of a marmalade jar, okay, and it's a massive jar and my feet are on the lid. I'm going to try and unscrew and then screw this marmalade jar, okay, using my feet. So when I swing back, I'm going to push my feet. I'm going to use my hips to push against, creating pressure, and unwind this lid, unscrew this lid by this powerful. Obviously, we don't want to be moving our feet, but that's the feeling. So when I swing back, I'm trying to rotate from my center. I'm trying to create the energy from the middle. My arms are working. If we look from here, my arms are working with my body. If I turn, the club goes into a perfect backswing. I'm not using hands and arms. I'm letting everything work together. Look, there's nothing happening. So I'm just using these rotational forces to create a perfect backswing and a tight coiled backswing. If I do it, look how centered I am. Okay, so that's fundamental. And when I swing down, what's happening? As I reach the top of the swing, I drive back into my left leg, back into the lid of the jar, and I'm gonna screw it the other way. It's gonna go the opposite way. So I'm gonna tighten that jar. So from here, move, boom. And all of a sudden, I've got that really powerful sound again. Okay, so my arms, if they're working correctly, they will whip through in the right way. So screw it, okay, turn against the jar, turn the other way, so you're pushing your feet against, let the arms work with the body. I'm not trying to manipulate. The arms and the club are working, thanks to my center, thanks to my feet. Turn, turn. Okay, that's step number 2. Let's go to step number 3. Number 3, let's try putting everything together. So what's important now to make everything really blend in beautifully is swing path, my line of swing when I hit the golf ball, and attack angle, whether I'm swinging down, straight, or up on the golf ball. Okay, so let's start a little bit with what we want in the way we swing to the golf ball, our swing path. The idea would be to hit a driver swinging in a nice wide, okay? You can see the club's grounding out nice and early, and it's coming into the back of the ball from the inside to square, and it goes back in. It can be a little in to out, it can be a little out to in, but we don't want it too much one way or too much the other way. So we want to have this wide arc, this circle around my body as much as we can with a driver, and get the feeling we're going to strike into the back of the golf ball with lots of whip, as you can see here, and then the club then swings through and we go through to a finish. So that's the first thing. The second thing, we want to hit up on the golf ball. So to do this, I just get a ball, and that way I get a tee. I can show you a little bit better. Right, so my ball position is just going to be on the inside of my left heel. So I just put my feet together, left foot out and right foot out. So all the rest is with the right foot. I'm quite wide, I want a nice wide base. Okay, that gives me the opportunity to keep my center, my sternum, quite a long way behind the golf ball, right? So that means my low point of my swing is going to be here. And that means I can also hit the golf ball swinging up. Right, so also with a wider base, I can create more power, more rotation. I can get really all of my body and these ground forces, you know, really happening. So from here, there, wide, look at that, I'm in a beautiful position. When I swing down, I can swing up on the golf ball. A little bit of help also, feel that your sternum's just tilted a little bit back. That also allows me to swing up on the golf ball. So now we're creating a wider in to square to in golf swing, and we're hitting up. So how can we practice this? I've got 2 simple, very, very simple drills. One with a head cover. This is my Gorilla head cover. Right, I'm just going to place that a little bit in front of the golf ball. And if you come behind here, you'll see. And I'm just going to place these 2 balls here, okay, which are slightly on the inside of the line where I'm hitting. So if this is my line that I'm hitting the golf ball, okay, the right side of the fairway, and then I'd like to hit a little draw, I'm just going to place these 2 balls here, which gives me a line of where I want to swing the golf club. Okay, I want to be swinging from in, okay, to square, and then up. So the head cover I don't want to hit, and I don't want to hit any of these 2 balls. So let's try and get everything together. So we're going to use the body, rotate, get the center working, your feet gripping the ground, rotate, rotate, connection, whip through the golf shot. Let's create this powerful shot. Ball position's good, slightly, just looking at the back of the golf ball. My right shoulder's a little bit more low than my left. Absolutely perfect. It started up the right side of the fairway, little bit of draw, come back. I swung through the 2 middle golf balls, the 2 golf balls behind, sorry. I swung over the head cover. I hit a good shot, little draws, quite powerful. I'd be very happy with that. So listen guys, practice these things. They're going to really help generate more power, more speed, but also more accuracy. We all want those 20 extra yards. Be your best. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. Please consider subscribing to the channel, clicking the button, the bell button next to it, so you never miss a lesson like this one.